Allocated season is officially over. I know that's sad news. I really do. I'm a bit sad because we didn't get every bottle that we wanted to find this year, and I'm positive it's the same for the good folks out there. They didn't pick up every bottle that they wanted to get either.
Well, it's like Pokemon, right? Like you can't catch them all, or no? What is it they say? You're supposed to. You gotta catch them all, but you just can't. There's so many good bottles that come out throughout the year.
You got me on the Pokemon thing. I don't know.
I'm not into Pokemon either. I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh kid growing up.
Ooh.
The
I
cards.
remember the cards. I do remember that. Fighting over those, sure.
Oh yeah. Stole a lot of those from Walmart as a kid. But yeah, you can't get them all, and there are so many bottles on the shelves that really rival, or in some cases are even better than allocated bottles.
Yes.
We do this all the time. We might pass them up because it doesn't have a fancy label on it, or it's not a well-known product, or it's sourced or something. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of really good stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I came down and Kurt had a really good idea, and we're going with it.
Mark it down on your calendar. This is my first masterful idea of 2024. I'm just going to put it out there.
All right.
We're going to show you 5. I thought about this long and hard, and some of these, Trenton on his side, he's got 5 bourbons that are going to be pretty predictable.
6-ish.
Yeah. 6-ish. We always got to mix that up just a touch, but it's got to be a little bit predictable, and most of you folks out there will probably guess 3 or 4 out of the 5 before we even get started.
That'd be interesting.
After I marked those down, I thought those would be great bottles that I'd say I'm hoping that 90%, 95% of you out there can find on your shelves at most any time. So then I also formulated an additional 5. They're not allocated, but because of their distribution, you might take a little bit more effort to try to find them. But if you do, it's going to be well worth it. So Trenton, I'm just dying to know what's the first bottle that you're going to show me of 5 or 6 bourbons that are better than most allocated. And let's preface that just for a second too. These bottles we're going to show you are not going to beat every single allocated bottle, okay? But they're going to beat a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
As much as it pains me to bring this bottle out, and of course you had to put this first.
I did it to you. But I didn't tell you to get it first, but you kind of figured that's probably what it was.
Yeah. We did a video not too long ago about the best bourbon in the world as said by the World's Whiskey Competition or World Whiskey Awards or something like that. Mm-hmm. So we did a video on it, and then we blinded it. And it won. As much as I hate to say it personally, as a Beam fan, as somebody who has maybe not said so many nice things about Wild Turkey in the past, especially Rare Breed.
It's okay. It's just not in your top 5 distilleries, that's all.
Well,
not a big deal.
As of late, since that video, I've kind of been going through Rare Breed a little bit more frequently than before. It is a very good bottle.
Yes.
It's a little bit more expensive than previous years. I used to get it. You used to get it for like $44.99 or 30,
I did,
30
yeah.
something?
No, it's 42, 44,
okay.
But now for me it's 50 to 55, but there are some people out there that are still getting it for a little less than 50, in that $45 to $50 range. So I'm a little bit jealous about that.
Us.
But yeah, a mainstay down at the bar. This bottle I bought more than any of the bottles I've ever had. I bought more of the Wild Turkey Bourbon Breed than anything else.
You telling me you haven't bought more Jim Beam than
Negative.
Shame.
Absolutely not.
This should be in most liquor stores, I hope.
I think so.
It's a very good bottle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
don't pass it up if you haven't already.
Nope.
Next, and this is one that's...
Start here and go that way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We'll do one of these
there
guys.
You go. You're better.
This is one that's been kind of being elevated for me a little bit more since this beat like the Weller 107 Antique in the blind we did. This has won several blinds. This is the Maker's 46 cast strength. I don't know the price on it. Is it like $74?
It's between $60 and $70.
Okay.
I think you can get it for that, and maybe just a couple bucks more than $70, but right in that general range.
I've heard Costco has really good prices on this one.
Oh, yeah?
Have it out yet.
I'll have to look for that next time I'm around there.
It's a weeder, so it is sweet, but I think, honestly, this could rival several different, like, Buffalo Trace weeders.
Yeah.
The proof, the price, the availability, everything about it is all around solid.
Yeah, I am glad that I've been reintroduced to that bottle here over the last several months because I forgot literally how good how good it is.
How did that even happen? Was Mom the one that put it in a blind or
Maybe.
something?
I don't even know, but it just kind of came out. I've ignored the bottle, not purposefully, but when you have a lot of selection here, you just, sometimes you pick different things. And as you all know, I like different whiskeys, and I just haven't pulled it off the shelf for at least a year or so.
Yeah. Well, let me mention this really quick. I have a canker sore the size of Nevada underneath my tongue. Canker sore, cold sore, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the deal is, but it hurts to talk, so I might be talking a little bit funny. I also woke up this morning and pinched a nerve in my neck right as I was getting out of bed, so that was just the icing on the cake.
Poor kid.
My apologies if I'm talking weird. My neck's looking
Too much sour candy this time?
I don't know what it is. I haven't been eating a whole lot of sour candy, not more than usual.
He used to get canker sores like crazy from eating all that sour candy that you used to
my
eat.
tongue would bleed. It was bad. Well, next up, and I'm glad that you put this in here because I'm a big fan of this, would be Knob Creek 12.
Yeah.
And I know it's, at one point, this was a little bit more difficult to find. I think as of, I don't know, maybe the last year or two, at least in our area, and we've gone to liquor stores in other states and stuff on our travels. And this is available, I think, anywhere between $60 and $70.
Yes.
Maybe 60 just on the cusp, $69.99. It's a very good bottle. I love Knob Creek 12. I don't know, this is the old bottle, so I don't know how often you drink Knob Creek 12.
Well, let me just say this. I don't drink the same bottle very often at all. Like I spoke earlier, this bottle here I bought more than anything else. Past that, I dip into, I like variety, and I like different whiskeys as well. So I will tell you this, though. I'm not much. I'm about as much of a Jim Beam fan as you are a Wild Turkey fan, right?
Fair.
I will tell you this, that Knob Creek is my favorite releases of Jim Beam, though.
They do a good job.
And I love their proof point. I'm into that 100 proof stuff, and I really enjoy the 12-year.
12-year, 100 proof for about $64.99, $69.99.
Yep.
Great option.
For sure.
I know you lumped these into two. I'm going to make sure that these fit on the screen here.
All right.
I have to do one of these numbers. But I mean, obviously, right?
I can't see the screen, Trent.
Can you? I don't know if we have enough room for this last one.
You're fine.
Old Forester 1920 and 1910. I know you lumped these in.
I did.
For us, the 1920, the last couple years in our Bourbon Madness tournament and a couple other blinds, this was doing really well. It won Bourbon Madness a couple years ago,
Right.
and several blinds after. But the last couple blinds we did in 2023, they weren't faring too well.
Yeah,
but what was faring really well was the 1910. And honestly, if you're a big Blanton's fan, or if you're somebody that's been looking for a Blanton's, this is a fantastic bottle, in my opinion. Rivals Blanton's, I would rather have this than Blanton's all day, any day.
Me too.
It's a double oaked. It's 93 proof. It's available everywhere. Probably $45 to $50, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's a part of Old Forester's Whiskey Row series, so it's out all the time, all year, no allocation.
And I lumped them together, Trent, only for the simple reason of preference. Everybody has their different preference, and they're both really good. Some may like the higher proof. Some may like the little bit sweeter, lower proof.
Yeah.
So either way, fantastic.
I'm gonna remove one of these.
You got it.
So we have a little bit more room to play around with here.
Sure.
Last but not least, I'm surprised. Not at all. Another Wild Turkey product.
I was looking over. I wasn't following your pun, so you got me on that one.
Was that a pun?
Yes, it was.
Russell, is this Russell Single Barrel?
Yes, it is.
You know a lot more about it than I do.
Oh, man. It's around $75 now.
Is it?
So it's gone up just a touch. But it is a single barrel offering, and what I particularly appreciate out of the Russell's Reserve Single Barrel is that I'm going to go out and say it's probably the most consistent bourbon in single barrel form that I've had.
Oh, yeah?
I guess in a way to give you a little analogy, you remember the Evan Williams single barrels that we used to get, but now they're,
Kentucky
distillery only or whatever it is, Kentucky only, whatever it is. I've had a couple of those that were absolutely delicious, and I've had a couple of them that were just
those
okay.
do vary a lot.
These seem very consistent from bottle to bottle, and they're just magnificent stuff, Trenton. They're just beautiful caramel, brown sugar, some oak. They're very well balanced. They've got some depth to it, and again, $75.
Even better if you can find a store pick of these. They're also really good.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
$10-15 more, but the store picks are solid. I just hurt my shoulder.
You need
falling apart,
dude. You just settle down. You're too young for all this stuff.
Falling apart, man. Sheesh.
Whatever you do, stick with us to the end of the video. I know sometimes our videos get a little long in the tooth because Trent seems to yak a lot, you know.
Not today because my mouth.
No, that's usually me. But I think you're going to be blown away with the last bottle I'm going to show you. I really, really do. It's going to surprise all of you. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the first one I want to show you is a fantastic bottle. Trent and I love this release. Old 55 single barrel bottle in bond. So 100 proof. That one there, another one, Trent, is probably about $70. It's an Indiana distillery, which is pretty cool since we live in Indiana. So it's an Indiana distillery. And this stuff is reminiscent to me to Rock Hill Farms. Kent has a Rock Hill Farms, and when we've showcased it in a video or two, he's let us borrow his. But from my memory, it's got that beautiful sugary, light brown sugar sweetness. I don't know, what's your thoughts? It's so good, though. It's really, really good stuff.
The angels were singing. I couldn't
I'm
hear
telling you, man, it's really good. It might take a little bit of effort to locate this just because of distribution, but I promise you, if you do, you're not going to be unsatisfied.
Yeah, Old 55's in Newtown, Indiana, which, like you said, is neat because when you think of Indiana distilleries, I bet 99% of people think MGP.
Sure.
There's some other ones, and this one's doing some really good stuff. You kind of hit the nail on the head about the Rock Hill Farms because this is like a really nice sweetness, like a burnt sugar type of thing. It's not as confectionery as Rock Hill Farms is.
Okay, I get that.
But in my opinion, if you were to age Rock Hill Farm just a little bit more, extra year or two, this seems like Rock Hill Farms, but like an older brother, a little bit more mature.
Okay.
It doesn't have that confectionery sweetness like Rock Hill Farms does, but it's very sweet. It's got this nice oak note. It's delicious all around.
It is.
How much was this?
It's lovely. It's about $70.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about $70. Well worth that price tag, if you ask me. All right, next on the list is another kind of a budget style bourbon option, Trent. And this is the Tumblin Dice single barrel proof. Now this is a pick, but you can get them in regular release as well. It doesn't have to be a pick, but that's the only one I have here on hand. This is a high rye bourbon, and it's about 118 proof. I think if my memory is right, it's like 35 or 36% rye in the mash bill. So it's a high rye bourbon, and it is absolutely delicious. When I was getting this video together, as soon as Trent came down, I said, I want to see if we can get a barrel pick of this. See if we can get with these good folks and see if we can't get a pick, because that is a great pour.
Well, and you think of like Source. This is sourced from MGP.
Yes.
It's a 5-year-old MGP product. You think of Source and you're like, MGP is MGP. I don't know what Tumblin Dice does with their selections or how they do that, but every single pick of Tumblin Dice I've had, and Virginia also sent me a little sample of the Tumblin Dice Rye. It was also very good. I think it's 95.5 if I'm remembering correctly. But these are so consistently good at a good price. The only knock I have is that I almost cut my finger off trying to get this wax off because it is thick. This is like a 1/4 inch thick of wax.
I didn't even remember that, but you are right. It's some thick wax.
It doesn't help too because I'm taking the knife and I'm like sawing at it and I'm going like this and I almost cut my finger off. But if you make it out with all 10 digits, or if you don't have 10 digits, if you make it out with the same digits you had going in, this Tumblin Dice is a great option.
It's fantastic. All right. This one may surprise a lot of folks.
Surprise me?
Yeah. Michter's US One Bourbon. Now, at all costs, Trent and I've learned through you see these gray hairs right here, bud? You see those? That's what you call a little bit of wisdom. A little bit of wisdom.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Let me share this with you. I've learned through mistakes in my past, but it's always best to tell the truth at all times.
Yep.
So I bought this bottle. I don't even know how long ago. I really don't. I have no idea. And as you can see, this is the same bottle. I've never repurchased. But Fred Minnick, he does his top 100. And have you ever seen him do that?
I watched his live stream.
It's like 5 hours,
dude.
The guy's an animal.
I would have to go to the hospital.
I mean,
if I did that, man. I know he like spits and stuff.
Doesn't matter.
I would still have to go to a hospital.
You think you have a canker sore?
Right.
I mean, the guy's a beast. He does a great job with that. He really does. But this particular bourbon landed in his number 52 spot of the top 100. Michter's US One Bourbon. It's $40, Trenton. So I was like, let me see what it's all about. And it's really good. I pulled it out and had a little pour, and it's fantastic.
In my opinion, Michter's core lineup is probably the best overlooked lineup out there. They got the American whiskey, they got this, they got the Sour Mash that I think is also really good.
It is.
The Sour Mash was at Binny's Limit 1 a couple years ago, and it was like $100.
Oh, no.
It wasn't the toasted Sour Mash either, but it was like allocated.
Yeah.
I think word got out. This is better than the Sour Mash, and it's
really good.
$40.
It's really good. It's $40 too, and a good call on Fred Minnick. I didn't know what was going on. I looked at that and I pulled it out. Trenton's right though. It's got some true bourbon characteristics to it. The caramel, the little bit of the brown sugar, a little bit of oak, but there is a tiny whisper of smoke in there too. And when he had a taste when he came down here to get ready for the show, and he's the one to call that out, and he's 100% right.
I'm a little bit, I don't want to say like sensitive to the smokiness, but I can pick it up pretty instantly when I try something. If you're not a big fan of the smoke or you don't like barbecue or anything like that, don't shy away from this because it's not enough to be in your face or be off-putting or obtrusive or anything. Yep. It's there, you can tell, but it's like a nice compliment to what's already going on, especially at $40.
Yep. All right, Trent, one we are very familiar with. I mean, these folks down here at ASW do some incredible things when it comes to bourbon and rye. And
if I could marry a distillery, I would. This would be the one. I would.
I know it. I'm disappointed in our trip down. We're not going to stop there. It is what it is. Chad. I don't even know. I haven't even talked to you yet, Chad, but wait until I do. Just kidding. But this is the Fiddler Georgia Heartwood. This is a single barrel. This is another pick, but again, you can find them also that are picks or not picks, but they're a little bit elevated in proof that this was 116, 118, or
I don't know, what is it on there? 100. What's 57.3 times 2? 114.6.
About 115. Yeah, okay, about 115 proof. This is just magical juice, Trent. It is. Really, really is. It's finished in Georgia Heartwood staves that are hand charred. And it gives you that little bit of barbecue note in there, but some beautiful maple sweetness and some wonderful depth. It's a wheat or two, right? It's like at the 45% wheat mash bill. So it's soft on the palate as well. It is an absolute treat, really. And how much is that one? You more than I do. I think that was about
79.
Okay, about $80 for that.
Yeah.
One. Okay.
And what's nice is that when they do picks, you can have different stave profiles. So the one that we did is 20. I was on a work trip, and they were kind enough to invite me out when I was at a work trip in Atlanta. And they were like, hey, come down. And I tasted some stuff, and they had some with I think maybe 23. It was either 23 or 32. Numbers are difficult. They had some with 1 or 2 staves in it. There's this total wine pick. It doesn't say it on the sticker, so I don't know how many this has, but it's also delicious. I haven't had a Fiddler Heartwood product that I don't absolutely love.
Yeah.
And the Fiddler Heartwood picks especially are no exception.
Oh, they're just so good. All right. We saved I wouldn't say it's the best for last, but it's definitely the most surprising.
Yeah.
Guys, listen. Trader Joe's barrel entry proof. Trader Joe's. Wow. This sat in my office a few months. Is it in there? You good?
Yeah, it's off center. It's driving me nuts. It's fine.
It's killing you, ain't it? My good friend Justin gave me this bottle when he came down one time, and I had to text him and ask him because I don't know how much it was, and it was. He said it's about $30. So thank you, Justin. We appreciate that. So about $30, 125 proof. I'm sure you almost literally fell over when you saw this in my selections. Did you or did you?
I did. I was like, wait, are you trying that or are you...
I'm just saying. I was floored. I've heard...
Yeah, I got to get some of that too.
I've heard some folks try to compare it or measure it up with the benchmark full proof. And I think that's a good option too for a decent price as well. But just my humble opinion, I don't think benchmark full proof holds a candle to this bottle right here. I just don't.
I'm gonna try it again, but if we're going based on what I tried earlier, which it is, I can also confirm. I thought this was benchmark full proof. For some reason, anytime I see something that is sourced that is 125 proof, I instantly think it's benchmark foolproof. There's something called Top Goliath that's been out, 125 proof. Thought it was benchmark foolproof. This is made by, it's distilled by Bourbon Square Distilling Company in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know anything about that.
Okay. All right.
Or if I want to irritate people, Louisville, Kentucky.
I won't do that.
But it smells delicious, and I can't tell if I'm smelling the bourbon or if it's this strawberry ice pop chapstick that I just put on, the I Heart Summer Collection allocated chapstick. It's so good.
I love it. It's just got your traditional, I don't really get a lot of caramel in there, but I definitely get the brown sugar, tiny bit of molasses. There's definitely like a really nice light leather note that's coming into play there that's really balancing out the sip. It's a tiny bit rugged. Would that be accurate?
Like an F-150?
No. I just mean like a burly type of it. So this is
Lumberjacky?
Well, let's just say this. Let me just compare. I would not say that this old 55 would be a rugged type of a sip. It's beautiful. It's soft on the palate. It's sweet.
Delicate.
This one you're gonna be drinking some bourbon right here, And then I was floored. I was genuinely floored how good it was for the price point.
It has aspects to me of like a Jim Beam. A little bit like a leathery, more. I don't know if I'd call it Jim Beam rugged.
It's a good analogy.
But if I was comparing, this is better than a lot of Jim Beam, especially some of the Bookers that have been coming out the last couple years, and it's $30.
$30. Again, it'd probably take a little bit of work and effort on your part. They're not always on the shelves at Trader Joe's, from what I understand. It may take a little bit of perseverance, a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but if you can find it and come up with it, what a buy.
Yeah.
What a buy.
Delicious.
Yeah. All right, guys, I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you did too. Trenton, I gave him the easy job. And look, you got all these no-brainers here. I'm the one who came up with all these,
You came up with these too. I'm going to come up with a gnarly blind for you on Friday, pal.
I already got one in mind for that too. We'll see if that works out or not. Yeah. Pappy.
What?
Pappy blind. Bring your Pappy over. I don't have one. Karen's got several. I don't have one.
He said he didn't care about the Pappy, so
yeah. Stay tuned. We got more for about the Friday blind. It's going to be pretty wild.
I'm scared.
It's going to be cool. All right, guys. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time right down here with Trent and me in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.